Henry Ford started as a farm boy and died a successful businessman. Ford revolutionized the automobile world and changed the world. Growing up, Ford knew the farm life was not for him because he was interested in gas and engines. He was surrounded by people who wanted to help him and motivated him. While making the first automobile, he ran into many problems. Ford brought cars to the common man and changed transportation in the process. Henry Ford was born July 30th, 1863 in Wayne County, Michigan, and died April 7th, 1947 at the age of 83. He was driven by many things, but he was driven most by his curiosity of machines. Because of this drive, Ford went on to build his own company in 1903, inspire others, and change transportation forever. Around 1896, he had lots of support from friends and family. Some even helped him build his first automobile, the quadricycle. Henry Ford was even driven by Thomas Edison to make a second car that was better, when Ford showed him his quadricycle in 1896. He did not have much family that was completely behind him, since his family did not get much of what he was doing. With all of this support, he still had trouble while building the quadricycle. When Ford began making automobiles a little before 1896, he encountered many problems. He encountered many problems because he had to explore and make a car with little knowledge of existing cars. The main problems he encountered were the making and breaking of the spark and cooling the engine. Another key part he had trouble with was the fuel-to-air ratio. This is what makes sure there is one of the biggest explosions possible to drive the cylinder as far and as hard as possible in the engine to give you the best gas mileage. Ford was surrounded by people who were fascinated with what he was doing. They helped Ford build the quadricycle and persevere through the problems he encountered. When Ford got the quadricycle running, he took it for drives, but it kept overheating. To stop it, he had to put water sacks over the engine. In Snow's book, it talked about how when Ford stopped places, a crowd would form around the quadricycle. Some brave souls would even try to start it. Then Ford would come out and drive away sitting on 4 horsepower. Next, he took it to Thomas Edison, and Edison told him to push himself and make a better model. Thus the quest to make the Model T began. The first Model T came out in October of 1908, making the Ford Motor Company in 1903. As seen in the picture, most cars at the time had a small engine and were overall just small compared to today's cars. Paul Labadie said that it was a cheap, simplistic, reliable car. The Model T was manufactured for 19 years. The last Model T came off the line in 1927. When the Model T was being produced, one came off the line every 24 seconds. When the last Model T came off the line, there were more than 15 million manufactured. One of the reasons the Model T was appealing was because of the price. The Model T cost $850 on October 1st in 1908. This was nice compared to other cars at the time that cost about $2,500 in 1908. Henry Ford changed the world. He changed how the world drove by making the operating system more simplistic in his cars. Without Ford, there would not be Toyota. This is because in the 1930s, Kishiro Toyota came to the U.S. and after studying Ford, he was inspired. From 1900 to about 1910, many Americans were against cars. They did many things to stop cars, including covering roads with shattered glass, chains, and logs. One time in Minnesota in 1902, a man was shot while driving. All this changed when people got Model Ts because they could use them for so many things, especially as a mobile power source just by attaching a belt to the crankshaft or rear axle. Labadie defines the outcome of what Ford did perfectly. He did not invent the automobile. He did not invent the assembly line. He invented the traffic jam. His version of the assembly line has also changed the world. It has made production of many items more efficient. Another after effect was the traffic light. In 1920, many crashes were happening. William Potts made a system of lights to let drivers know when to go and stop. Because of Ford, the automobile world was sped up by about 10 years since he created the demand for cars. Henry Ford brought common man cars and changed the way everyone gets around while doing so. Without Henry Ford, we would not have as many car companies as we do now. In addition, we would be 10 years behind in automobile technology, as well as we would not have produced as many things as fast as we do now. All of this is because Henry Ford explored and made a car with little knowledge of existing cars. He also made existing car companies change their prices to his. We now have nice vehicles, and the future will too because of Henry Ford.